So in today's video, we're going to answer the question, how do I become more masculine? This was a user or a viewer question that was recently posted in the comment section of one of our videos. And he was specifically referring to how do I become more masculine in relationships with women. Becoming more masculine around women is a process. See, I had to develop my masculinity. I wasn't born with it. A lot of men that are naturally masculine are born with strong masculine role models. They do a lot of stuff to develop their masculinity as they grow up also. A byproduct of having a strong masculine role model. And for those guys, it's awesome because they have it naturally. But for the rest of us, especially us nice guys, us guys that were born with, say, a nice guy syndrome, we have to start working on developing it. Now, it's not something you're going to develop overnight. You can try to, but you're most likely going to fail if you try to push it too far, too fast. It's something that's going to grow a little bit each day. But if you surrender to that idea of growth, growing your masculine naturally, then in a short period of time, you can make huge results as long as you're not trying to force it or fight it. It's the same thing as basically lifting weights, going to the gym. You work out every day, you feed the right nutrition, you get rest, you go back again, and within no time, you make huge strides in the area of adding muscle or cutting fat or whatever you're going to do. So I want to invite you into that world of consistency. Now, let's take a look at how you do it. What causes the masculine to grow? And to put it simple, it's challenge. The masculine grows from being challenged. You ever seen how young boys are always challenging each other, pushing each other's boundaries, and competing? Well, that's what causes the masculine to grow. The masculine thrives in challenge. Look at masculine activities, something like football or basketball, ritualized forms of combat in a sense. And when you see people out there doing that, they're facing challenge. There's a winner, there's a loser, they're pushing themselves. And it's not really important whether you win or lose in the competition. It's the fact that you get out there and play and perform your best. You're always going to win and lose. Even the best lose. It's learning to accept the losing graciously and enjoy the process of learning that happens through it, and even enjoy the winning when it happens. And in that, you will grow. Now, here's the problem. A lot of guys in the area of women, they decide to challenge themselves. I'm going to go out every night and I'm going to talk to women at the bars. And I'm going to push myself and I'm going to grow really fast. Because I'm going to talk to 30 women tonight and I'm going to get pushed and I'm going to state pump myself up, and in that I'm going to grow. Here at Fearless, we disagree with that. That's pushing yourself too far, too fast. That's what I talked about earlier. If you go too far, too fast, you go into what we call a state pump, pumped up, all charged, like let's go, let's go, let's go. And you disassociate from the feelings that are going on in your nervous system, from the emotion, from the feelings, from the vulnerable part of yourself. And now you're just in a rush, you're in a race. Let's get it done, let's go, let's do it, talk to the next girl. But the problem is, when it comes to women, they connect with you through your emotions, through how you feel. They want to feel your vulnerability, they want to feel your happiness, they want to feel your sadness, they want to feel your turn on, they want to feel your creativity, they want to feel all the emotions that go into a great conversation. When you're having a great conversation with somebody, there's a whole gamut of emotions you're riding up and down. And what's really happening is they're not as much connecting to the words as they're connecting to the changes in those emotional states. And so if you're state pumped, you have one emotional state. You're rushing, you're forcing, you're pushing. And that might work with another guy when you're in competition, but it's not going to work in conversation with a woman. So if you want to grow fast, you got to find that point where you push yourself and you're about to go into that state pump. You're about to go a little into that state pump and go a little into it, but not so much that you lose contact with what you're feeling sensation-wise in the body, like hot, cold, where your body's feeling, and what you're feeling emotion-wise in the body. And then you start to push into those emotions. So you don't pop out, you push into them. Now, the reason my hand went up like this is we call it popping out. The more you go into that state pump, the more you push, the more there's a sense of rising in the body until you're just ahead up here racing at 100 miles an hour. The more you relax, the more you feel down through your body until you're feeling all the way down through the legs. When you're really masculine, really grounded, you're really feeling your legs. You're really feeling low in your body. You're feeling right here in the hip area a lot. You're really feeling your turn on and not apologizing for it. Masculine guys never apologize for being turned on. Masculine guys never apologize for liking a woman. Masculine guys never apologize for enjoying sex. And they're comfortable in that. They can be sweet, caring, and loving, but they can also be sexual and turned on. And they're not necessarily going to force their sexuality on somebody. I would never encourage that. But they're going to own their sexuality and make it all right to be sexual, which gives the woman permission to be sexual. So pushing your boundaries isn't just pushing your boundaries emotionally here, like, hi, I want to meet you, like really feeling that excitement. But it's also down here, hi, I want to meet you, really feeling that turn on and owning that. That's why you can't state pump. When you state pump, you leave all that feeling and you're just in a rush, like I talked about earlier. So start to learn to feel lower in the body. Like we do a lot of squatting exercises and movement exercises to start to learn to feel our lower body. This is what yoga and stuff like that is intended to do, to teach you to feel through your whole body. It's not about stretching, it's about feeling. So we do a lot of movements where we learn to squat down and rest, sit in resting squats like Ido Portal talks about if you've ever looked at his stuff. And we'll sit in those for 10, 20, 15 minutes, learning to feel our lower body, moving off our lower body in the squat. We're learning to relax into it. We will practice moving the feet and the legs and just learning to feel the emotion in that part of the body as we move. Learning to feel the rhythm and the flow of that part of the body, like a dancer flows. Because as you feel more down in the hip area, you're going to feel more of your turn on. You're going to feel more of your solidness, your groundedness. Because a tree, if you look at a tree, it's grounded through the tree trunk, and the branches and the leaves are the expression of that. Well, you ground through the lower part of your body, and grounding equates to how masculine and solid you are and how connected you are. So as I get more solid, I feel my lower body, I feel my body, then I connect to her, and I start walking into that tension. I'm going to feel the tension. I'm going to walk right into it, and I'm going to start pushing farther than I'm used to, but just a little bit, get used to it. Then that's where you'll be developing your masculine. That's where you'll be developing your solidness. So I might walk up to 5 girls tomorrow, and instead of saying, you know, you're fucking gorgeous, and I had to talk to you because that's way outside your boundary, you might walk up to them, feeling down in your lower body, feeling that tension, feeling the nervousness, pushing a little beyond, and just ask them the time. 5, 10 girls a day, until that becomes comfortable. Then the next day, next week, whatever it takes for you to start to relax into that area, you'll do the same thing. You don't want to lose contact with your lower body. You want to walk up to them and push it a little farther. Maybe ask 2 questions. Maybe ask a really random question that's kind of awkward that you have to get comfortable with. Like, hey, what's your favorite color? Hey, do you like cats or dogs? I used to ask those questions all the time. Why? Because I wasn't focusing on trying to turn her on with those questions. I was focusing on developing my own masculinity, my power. And how was that working? Because when I ask, what's your favorite color, and it's really awkward, and I have to deal with that, I have to learn to stay calm, centered, and grounded while that awkward moment happens. Well, that's me being masculine. I create an awkward moment, I ground it, I deal with it well, I stay solid in my body, and I'm demonstrating my ability to deal with tension in that moment. I did that one day 100 times. I talked to people and just randomly asked them random awkward questions and then grounded them out and dealt with it. And I would say stuff like, hey, what's your favorite color? And they would go, and I go, mine's blue. Come on, now you have to tell me. And they would tell me. And I go, you know what blue says about a person? I start the conversation. And I go, I know it's random, huh? I'm a total random guy. I like to ask random questions. I own it. And then I continue forward. I keep talking. And you'd be surprised how many people end up really liking you because you took the lead. You have to take the lead to do something like that, and you grounded it. And you can make up any question you want. It doesn't matter. The question doesn't matter. It's how you're being. Are you feeling down here? Are you learning to relax? Are you calming down? Can you connect to their eyes while you're talking to them? And this is where it's really important to have a partner. The partner will give you feedback on the process. Did you look calm? Were you feeling your lower body? Were you enjoying the process? Were you nervous and pulling away? Were you turning back? Were you popping up here and talking from up here a little bit? And as you calm down more and more, you start working towards the goal of eventually being able to say, I just had to talk to you. There's something about you. You know, your eyes are gorgeous. What's your name? And owning that while feeling your body, while connecting to her, while enjoying your turn on, we're feeling appreciative of her as a woman and a human being. And when you can feel all that going on in your body at once without a state pump, you'll be surprised how many girls will want to give you their number. And it's a simple process. So we call those progressions. Progress. Start with something simple. Maybe it's just a simple, what time is it? And you start working your way up. Maybe it's 2 questions. Then we start working on asking, and we start working our way up towards more difficult questions. I start creating more context. I start speaking slower. Like I might go up and say, hey, you know what? I'm totally lost. I'm not from around here. I'm like a total tourist today. And are you from around here? Oh, awesome. You know where Wilshire Boulevard is? And I think it's up that way, right? And so what I'm doing there is I'm not just saying, hey, do you know where Wilshire Boulevard is? I'm starting to create this sense of context, of play, of flow. I'm painting a picture of me as a human being, which then naturally can lead into a conversation. And it works all the time for me. Or if I'm really feeling like I want to push tension that day, I might just walk right up. If I can feel my lower body, stay calm, stay centered, and say, there's something about you. I just had to meet you. What's your name? No, I'm not done talking to you yet. Come here. Let's talk for a minute. And when you own that, you'll be surprised at how much women like you. So the process of developing masculinity, again, as a quick recap, is learning to step into this tension a little bit at a time. Tiny progressions, 1% here, 1% there. You might have to do 30 stops, 40 stops, 100 stops, asking a girl the time before your body starts to calm down and you enjoy that tension. Then you might do 2 questions. Something simple like, can you give me directions to such and such street? Oh, awesome, thank you. Yeah, I was totally lost. And again, you said it's that way, right? Asking a second question, learning to stay calm and centered. Then progress from that to the next thing, to the next thing, till eventually you're standing there solid in your power and you're being direct and clear in your communication. And that will develop masculinity. You can apply this principle to anything else too. Sales, marketing, just plain being social. Anywhere you need to develop your masculinity. That's the secret. Because most guys just state pump and push way too far. I call it trying to jump the Grand Canyon. It doesn't work. And unless you're already almost there. Some guys can handle that, but very few can. And when you make this change, when you get it right, when you hit that sweet spot, and you do this consistently over time, give yourselves like 3 months if you're really nervous, you'll be surprised how much it'll change your life. And one more thing, consistency. Do it every day. Even if it's just for a half hour, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, every day. Go out, do something for that 3 months. Try not to skip any days. Because if you just do it on the weekends, it will have minimal effect. It's that consistency that causes the nervous system to shift. I have one client right now, was terrified of women. He goes out and does 10 stops a day. Started with just, do you have the directions? Do you have time? Now he's getting bolder and bolder and bolder, and he's having more fun, and he's getting more powerful with it. And it took several months because he was that scared. But he learned to surrender. On the weeks he thought nothing was happening, he surrendered. And then the next week, boom, a nice big change, and he flows. So I want to invite you to get out there right now. Take action. Start today or start tomorrow. Make a plan of action, maybe a 90-day process, and get committed. Make sure you comment on this video, by the way. I want to hear what you think, and I want to hear what other videos you need. I know it's kind of a long video, but I felt like a lot needed to be said in this area. So I want to hear your comments and how this is working for you and what you're doing. Also, make sure to subscribe. This channel's for you. I want to make videos that that'll really help you in your life, and so make sure to subscribe so you can get those videos. One more thing, remember, only the confident really live. It's about being real in the face of tension, in the face of something big. Maybe you're telling her how you feel about her, but you're being real about it, honest about it, and at the same time, you're not asking her to stay. You're not asking her my positive emotions and feelings to become a natural part of my daily state. Courage, acceptance, peace, love, all these emotions. Starting to feel amazing when it comes to my day-to-day. You see, emotions are not you. Because a lot of people think they are their emotions.